What is up, guys? Ninja Nick 333. We are back for another round of Day 2 of the Knoxville Pokemon Regional Championships. They are going over the deck usage analysis Day 2, so this is the metagame for Day 2. So, Lugia, as always, converted from just under 30% to just above 33%. That's generally how this goes. It goes from being, you know, just under a third to just at a third. And then we see Lost Zone Box stays at about the same we're at here, 12%. Regigigas converted very well, in my opinion. It's at 11%. Vikavolt also converted very well. Both of these decks, I think, went from 8% to 11%. So that was very interesting here to see. Mew went down only about 10%, which was very odd. And then for some reason, they're calling this Arceus V-Star Duraludon VMAX, except this is Goodra. So, Lost Zone Goodra is 7%. Or maybe it's Arceus Duraludon. I don't know. I can't tell because they messed up. We've got 15% using other, so that would probably be maybe Arceus Duraludon or the Lost Zone Goodra and some other weird things like Flaffy, maybe. I don't think any Flaffy made it, but one of my friends hit Flaffy. It was a bad time. But yeah, very important to see. Always Lugia always converts up every time. There was so much Vikavolt in Day 1 that I'm really not surprised that its conversion rate went up as well. So, always important to see stuff like that. We are going to skip ahead and see if we can get right into this next game. And yes, here we are. If I can find where my mouse went. Alright, perfect. So we have Connor Finton on the left with Lugia, big surprise, and Lance Bradshaw on the right with Lugia, again, big surprise. We got 2 Aurora Energies prize, that could really matter. Also 3 Quick Ball. Those are ways that are really reliable to discard this Archeops, so that might not be very good for Lance here. And Connor is playing a lot of holo cards, so his stuff is definitely clumping together here. But it will be interesting to see exactly how this matchup goes. Lugia Mirror, we'll have to see who goes first. Whoever goes first does have a pretty significant advantage, but it's not always who wins the game. It is a very skill-intensive matchup, in my opinion. Looks like Connor goes first, starting Pumpkaboo. Lance goes second, starting Lugia. You do not want to start Lugia going second in the mirror. You want to start Oranguru if possible, or just any other one prizer like Pumpkaboo would be fine if you're going second. We do see a Lugia come down, was likely the top deck from Connor, because if you're going first, you want to start Lugia V generally. And then you see the V-Guard energy come down. That will insulate it from being able to be one-shot by a Lugia V-Star of Lance's. Unless, of course, he gets that Choice Belt, but it does force the Choice Belt. Looks like Lance is Ultra Balling away a Dunsparce. Does not believe he needs that in this matchup. We did see that Connor is playing the Snorlax, so it is unlikely that he's also playing the Raikou. It's usually one or the other. So we are going to search our deck. We did get rid of the Lost Vacuum as well. That's probably not super useful in this matchup, so that's fine to discard. And we do see the notepad here as well, here from Lance. So we are going to, after that Ultra Ball that we got the Archeops from, we are going to use our only Quick Ball in the deck. Funnily enough, we did start with it even though there were 3 in the prize cards. So funny that all of those ended up towards the top of the deck. Just kind of happens that way. It's kind of what we call PTCGO hands. We are going to grab that Lumidian to get, looks like a Professor's Research, I believe that was. Yes, it was. They're showing off Professor Rowan's research here. I do not believe that's the one he's actually playing. Yeah, it's the Magnolia Professor's Research. Magnolia, honestly, my least favorite professor. Nothing really against her. She just, like, kind of doesn't do anything in the games, and she's just an old lady, so. I don't know. I feel pretty indifferent towards her. I like Juniper. She's a cutie. We are playing that research, discarding the Stoutland. We get a second Lugia V down, which is very important since you did start the Lugia V. And it looks like we also have that V-Guard energy as well, so that might help. But probably not too much. We are going to read the wind. Looks like we're discarding Luminian. Very surprising discard there. Luminian is usually very important in this matchup to be able to get supporters. We are going to see a capture energy. Connor is playing all like gold cards and full arts and everything. I'm surprised his Lugia Vs aren't full art. But I mean, I guess maybe he has money, so. I don't know. If I had money, maybe I would play gold cards, but I don't like the look of the gold cards too much. I like the Lugia V-Star gold, but I don't know. A lot of those energies, they're just too much when they're that shiny, you know? They all like look the same in your deck. And we just see a pass there from Connor. He does not have any Archeops in the discard pile. He does not have a Lugia V-Star in play yet. I think it's perfectly fine to not put a Lugia V-Star into play, whether you have it in hand or not, if you're not going to be using Summoning Star that turn. That way you can save that for the other Lugia, especially if you prize a Lugia V-Star. We do see Lance is going to evolve his active. He has an Archeops, at least one, I do believe two, in his discard pile already. We are going to Evo Incense. That will likely get us another Archeops. If we did not have two in the discard already, we are very likely going to see another one hit the discard now. Although I don't see much discard in his hand. So that might not quite work out the way we want it to. We also do have another Lugia V-Star in deck. It looks like we're going to go for the double Lugia V-Star. And it looks like he is playing one gold and one regular. So we are going to V-Star just the one Archeops out. Very surprising there. He did not have a way to discard another Archeops in hand, so. Yeah, very interesting. He did prize, I think he prized double Aurora, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, he prized double Aurora and triple Quick Ball, so I'm not surprised that there is only one Archeops for him in this game. But he is going to be able to get the first knockout. Either way, he will be removing the Lugia V that has the V-Guard energy and just energy in general. So that will help quite a bit. Connor will have to get into his Lugia V-Star, get a couple Archeops into the discard pile this turn. And it looks like Lance flipped the wrong V-Star marker, so they just fixed that right now. And it looks like Connor's scooping already? I don't really blame him. That was an awful start from him. And it looks like Lance wins game one here very quickly and convincingly. So let's see if we can get right into this next game. Oh, Connor prizes double Archeops. Oh, this is rough. Lance again prizes Quick Ball Aurora Energy, and this time an Archeops, but this is still way better prizes than Connor. And again, it looks like both players are going for the Snorlax instead of the Raikou route. But yeah, Aurora, Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, and two Archeops. This is an awful prize set for Connor. So hopefully he is still able to get going in this game. But those prize cards are not benefiting him in any way, shape, or form, it looks like. He does start with double Lugia. Doesn't really have much else to play. That's all you really need to play turn one, though. So hopefully next turn we can see a couple of Archeops. I would love to see this go to game 3. So there is a Lugia V coming down from Lance. He did start the Radiant Charizard. They are showing off the new Crown Zenith art here above my head. I do love that art. But we all already own the Pokemon Go one, so a little unfortunate that you have to buy yet another copy of it if you want to play the better art. That is the unfortunate thing, when they print cards in new artworks, when the new artwork is better and you're like, well, I already own this card, but I have to buy it again. That's so annoying. Like when I had to buy Crobats, I'm like, I had opened so much Shining Fates or whatever it was called on stream. And I did it mostly to get those shiny Crobats that were in the boxes. And then they made the alt art Galarian Gallery or whatever it's called, the trainer gallery ones, where they have silver in the art. And I'm like, well, I love gold and silver. I love Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I have to have this art. So then I bought 2 of those, and then I pulled one, and I'm like, I have so many Crobats now. I'm pretty sure I have like one of the original print that I did pull in Shining Fates. Then I have 3 shiny ones, and now I have 3 alt art ones. So it's like I have all these Crobats, and like no deck plays it anymore, except for Eternatus. But it does play it in high numbers, so I guess if I want to play more Crobats, I could just play Eternatus. I swear to God, if this stream starts making me want to play Eternatus, I swear to God. So we are seeing the quick ball for Luminion, got rid of an Archeops. We are going to see, it looks like a Professor's Research here as well, maybe? Oh no, maybe it's just a Serena? It looked like he drew 4 cards, but it must have been 5. I don't, yeah, Serena's up on screen, so it had to be Serena. Very fortunate that Lance didn't go first and Connor had the start that he did, because otherwise you might actually see a Charizard get fully powered up and just take a one-shot. Connor is going to want more Pokemon in play on this next turn. He does have another Lugia V in hand that he can bench. He also has an Evital, which might not be a bad attacker in this matchup. Can easily shred straight through a V-Guard energy. We're going to see a double turbo get attached to the Radzard, and then just a pass. That's all we really need to see from Lance as well. If Connor does not get the knockout, then there is the potential that this Charizard could retreat, or just get powered up. If we see a Choice Belt, Charizard would not be that bad of an attacker. Actually, yes it would, because the double turbo does minus 20. So Choice Belt would not get you to the 280 number at this point. So we are quick balling away a Serena. We are checking our prize cards. Connor's going to be like, oh great, I only have 2 Archeops. How am I going to draw into those? And again, this is just the way that decks operate sometimes. Sometimes you just prize really poorly and there's nothing you can do about it. I know my friend Chris was playing against Lost Box, and his last prize card was Stoutland. He just needed to draw that as any of his prize cards except for the last one, and he would have won the game. But he never drew the Stoutland, so he ended up, I think, tying that match. And this is why I say prize cards should be taken by the opposite player. It would be really great if you're losing, if you gain card advantage in hand. But of course, that is not the way this game operates, especially since if you need a card in order to win the game, you know, you might not be able to get into the cards that far, into those prize cards, in order to draw the card you need to win, so. Looks like we're not going to see much else here. We need another, well no, we have 2 Lugia down. We can read the wind. We can Monkey Time. We can use the Primate Wisdom here. Looks like we're going to get Boss off the top. We're going to retreat into the Monkey and pass. Yeah, I guess that's better than using Read the Wind and making your opponent take 2 prize cards instead of 1. Connor just shakes his head no. Like, wow, I'm getting such bad luck. Connor's a really good player, but I do see him get pretty shit luck on stream sometimes. So Lance is deciding exactly where he wants to go here. Looks like he is going to use his Summoning Star. He is going to get out double Archeops here. Much better than the previous game. So I think in this situation, you definitely do not want to be attacking with Charizard if you can avoid it. If you have an energy in hand, you can attach. You can then retreat into the Luminion, double Luminous, or double Primal Turbo to the Luminion. So yeah, I would just maybe charge one capture to the active. Oh, looks like we're going... Okay. Yeah, that way you still have the Heat Fire to attack in the future. Oh no, you're just going to go for the attack. Oh, if he has boss's orders in hand, that is gross. Just absolutely dirty. I don't think he does, though. And he's just, yeah, he's just going to take the knockout here. So long as Connor isn't able to do anything on this turn, he can just hard retreat that Charizard into something else and take a knockout that way as well. And Lance just ends up going, like, super hard. Just, like, end up just winning the game super one-sidedly. So I would really love to see Connor get finally set up this turn. And see that Lugia V-Star just knock out a Radiant Charizard with all of those energies on it. We do see a powerful colorless energy. We are going to read the wind, discarding Archeops just to get one in there. Oh, man. I mean, that's how you have to do it. But again, you saw his prize cards. They were abysmal. It was what? Aurora Energy, Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, 2 Archeops. So it's like very unlikely you're going to draw into your own Archeops, and even if you do, unlikely to be able to discard it. So he has to read the wind to discard the one that he drew into, and it's just, oh, just so bad. Now the Radiant Charizard cannot attack this turn. However, the double turbo and a capture energy can easily be retreated off of it, or discarded off of it in order to retreat into literally anything. Lance could go in with the Lugia V-Star this turn, which is what I believe would be the best idea. That way you still take a knockout. You go 3 prize cards positive here. We also get the V-Guard energy on there, which will cancel out that choice belt. That will make it so Connor has to get 3 powerful colorless energies on this Lugia, which means he's most likely going to have to get double Archeops here. So he's going to have to find another Archeops and a way to discard it. I'm not sure what he got off of that read the wind, the draw 3. But yep, we are going to see those exact energies get discarded. As I said, we are going to see this golden Lugia V-Star come up and take the knockout. Lance is just like, get him out of here. I don't want him. Just shoot. The Evital gets promoted because, I mean, honestly, that's your best attacker at this point. You do not want to put up another Lugia V-Star if you can avoid it. We are going to Ultra Ball away an Archeops that we got off of this Evo Incense. We are going to be able to get our Lugia V-Star finally. We do also have a Radzard, looks like we're eyeing up, and the Snorlax. Do we not have any Lugia V-Stars? Or I guess we're just going for the Snorlax because we want to just try to chain a bunch of single prize attackers, maybe. We have the Lugia V-Star. We are going to get out our double Archeops finally. We do know that he had 2 in there. He did read the wind and then discarded one with Ultra Ball. So we are going to Primal Turbo. We are likely going to see Evital be our attacker at this point. So 1, 2. Oh, does he not even have enough energy to attack? Okay, he's still got some energy left after this Evital. That was a little concerning to see, but yeah, I'm not sure why we went with the V-Guard specifically. We do have another Aurora Energy. Are we short an Aurora Energy? Or do we have it? We probably have it in hand. And that's why we went with the other 2 energies there, the V-Guard and the Speed Lightning. Oh yeah, we have the Heat Fire, so that's great. So now we can attack with the Evital. We will be able to take our first 2 prizes of the game. We are also going to see a Research discarding the Bird Keeper. So it is important to note he is playing the Bird Keeper since he does have the Snorlax. Snorlax is a little fat boy, so he does need to be moved sometimes. We are going to Evo Incense for a Lugia V-Star, which we're just going to throw on the table. And then we're going to Evo Incense again, fail that, and just shuffle. So thinning as much as possible so that we can draw into any of the potential outs that we have in deck. We're going to be able to take our first 2 prize cards, but Lance will be ahead too once he takes the knockout on this Evital. Lance could also potentially just take a knockout on Lugia V-Star this turn. There is a world where he can do that. Since he no longer has the double turbo on his Charizard, he could always promote that, put a choice belt on it, boss, and take the knockout that way. But this is a little safer of a play. This is much more conservative and still gets you almost as far. So you are going to promote the Luminion V, and we will be able to see the double primal turbo. We'll fully power up Luminion. We will likely bench something that we don't care if it's knocked out or not. And then we will... I mean, you could even just put the Lugia V active even. You don't even necessarily have to bench anything else. But you have the Raikou, so you can just bench Raikou. Luminion, Luminous, Aqua Return is what it's called. Knock out the Evital, shuffle those energies back in your deck, promote the Raikou. Oh, looks like we're playing 3 Lugias in this deck for Lance. That's very unheard of. We have 3 different... See how I mentioned before that if you're playing different arts of a card, you can identify their counts. So we've seen 1 regular art Lugia V-Star, we've seen 1 gold, and we've seen 1 hyper rare, the rainbow rare. So he's definitely playing 3 copies of Lugia V-Star. If they were all 1 rarity, we would still not be sure if he plays 2 or 3. We would assume that he plays 2. So if it got to like a game 3, maybe we see 2 in the discard pile, we're like, oh, we won, and then he plays a 3rd out of nowhere. Like, that just gives your opponent extra information. So something very important to just keep in mind of whether you're playing against somebody who has cards like that, or if you are playing cards like that, maybe you can try to change which, cards you're playing in your deck, always by low rarity or something like that. But it looks like we do just see the retreat into the Raikou, and we're going to take the knockout that way. So we do knock out the Evital and put 120 onto the Lugia V-Star. So that is actually a lot better for him, because that does make it so he goes down to 2 remaining prize cards. We are going to see the Snorlax come up, though, and that will get charged up with the Archeops here. We will be able to see the Snorlax take the knockout here on... I thought we were going to see the Snorlax knock out the Luminion. Maybe he has a powerful in hand, or the double turbo in hand, yes. Okay, I got a little confused for a second. But yeah, we have the double turbo to attach in hand to the Snorlax. That cancels out the powerful colorless energy, so we are still doing the regular 180 with Thumping Snore. We will be able to take the knockout with the Luminion here. The Raikou will not be able to take a knockout on anything unless there is a boss's orders. So he is asleep. He does have to roll for sleep. Gets double tails. We see an Ultra Ball, likely for another Luminion, for a boss's orders, and that will be the game because he hits for weakness. Will hit for 240 damage. Lance Bradshaw wins this in a very convincing 2-0. There has been a lot of convincing 2-0s on this stream so far. It's kind of wild. But anyways, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Only about 15% of you are subscribed right now, according to watch time. So keep that up. Make sure... We have, like, essentially doubled it in the past week, which is kind of wild, because it was at, like, 8% before. But just keep that up. Keep feeding the algorithm all those likes and comments and all that stuff, just to make sure that the channel keeps growing so that we can keep improving, keep doing more of this stuff, and... we will just see you guys in the next round.